Hey YouTube, Shuken here with a review of the S.H.Figuarts Magnugiga from Kamen Rider Ryuki, or Magnugiga being Kamen Rider Zolda's contract monster. This was a Tamashii web exclusive, and he was rather pricey. I don't remember his actual price right off the bat, but because of his size, he cost quite a bit more, even though there is no diecast whatsoever in here. So he's actually quite light. Zolda is actually heavier because of his feet than Magnugiga is, so that's kind of fun. But here they are next to each other. So you can kind of see a size comparison. He is quite a bit taller, and obviously quite a bit more impressive looking. Hard to forget that he's a contract monster, considering he's pretty much just a robot. But he is very cool. Bandai used a wonderful shade of green here for the, gives it a nice little metallic-esque look to it. I mean, it's not chrome or anything, but it is quite solid. And, quite solid? That's a weird thing to describe a paint color. But it looks really cool, and I have to give him props for that. It does look absolutely fantastic. So, obviously the Bandai silver looks great, as always, and the gold that they used is fairly nice as well. So, very cool. Articulation-wise, you've got full articulation up here on the head of Magnugiga. The horns also move, but that is for a different reason altogether. Full rotation right here. It gets kind of nicked right there at the chest, so you have to swing it back around. But that's all you get up here is a rotation joint. You do get a swivel up at the bicep, a single joint right there at the elbow. Yeah, single joint right there. His little hand grippy opens up. Same thing over here, single joint, bicep swivel, and a gun. Then a full ball joint system down here at the hip, single joint at the knee, just like that, and then you get a little bit of movement down here at the ankle. So quite a bit of articulation, considering he's a big, massive robot, and he doesn't really even need a lot of articulation because Magnugiga hardly ever moves in the show. But very cool, and like this, what I like about this guy is that you can get off some fairly dynamic poses for Magnugiga, even though he never does anything like this whatsoever. But I think that's kind of neat that you can kind of retcon Magnugiga into an actual fighting robot as opposed to just a massive artillery base. So one of the cool things about Magnugiga and the contract monsters in general, this doesn't look right. It's crooked. His chest is crooked, guys. There we go. The one thing that's cool about these is that they basically, the contract monsters supply the weapons to the riders in Ryuki. Like, for instance, with the Dragredder and Ryuki set, you could see that his tail came off to form the sword, his head came off to form the strike vent. So, that was really cool. This guy does the same exact thing. In fact, every single one of his body pieces turns into a weapon of some sort. And they're all fully compatible with the Zolda figure. So that's really cool. We'll go ahead and do that. I just have the basic shoot vent holding hands on Zolda right now. They should be compatible with most of the various things. So his final vent was basically super awesome death time with this guy. So if you kind of open him up, you've got all of these cannons and everything that could possibly fire. I don't remember which ones were active and which ones weren't at the time of the final event, but here's basically all of his guns possible on this guy. And basically what Zolda would do is he takes the Magnivisor, I think, and basically slots it into his back, which is fully possible. I think it does end up clicking in there if you push hard enough. So if you line it up, he basically inserts the gun back there and then fires, and then everyone dies. That's basically how it goes. So that is a posing possibility there. And then, like I said, he does split apart to form the various weapons. So if you split off this part right here, he's now the Headless Horseman. This part is the strike vent for Kamen Rider Zolda. Basically what you have to do is take this included little black piece and attach that like so. This will swing downward, as will the head. And it's kind of really easy to pop off, so you have to be a little bit careful with that. But it doesn't seem to want to like lock at all. But that swings down, the face swings down. Then these will swing over. And here is his strike vent. It's like a little pincher thing. So if you take Zolda here, it's probably easier to put the black piece in his hand before you attach it. Just like so. So now Zolda's got the strike vent going on. So that's pretty neat. Strike vent. Stay. So that's one weapon. There is 3 more. Still to come on this guy. So if you split apart the bottom piece, and we'll just set that aside for now. And then this part up here disconnects from the chest piece. So you've got 2 more pieces. I'll take a look at the chest piece first. This is the guard vent. Basically, it's a giant shield that he can stand behind. He can hold on to it, just not very well. But he can hold on to it. It also acts as a stand for one of the chute vents. We'll take a look at that too. But basically, this swings down to make a point, and then it comes with a little base here. Then you just slide that on. Kind of wiggle it in. And there you got a little stand for it, which isn't very stable, but it works, I suppose. So you got that going. As always, these can open up to fire missiles, so it's a offensive guard vent, which fits Zolda great. So we'll just kind of stand that right over here by him, even though you can't see it. Actually, I'm just going to lay it down because it won't stand whatever. Next up is one of the chute vents. This one was the large cannon. So basically, this swings out. This one will fold over, and then this will fold over. Just like this. Then just line these up appropriately. Like so. And you have the chute vent weapon. Make sure those shoulders are pushed in all the way. So very, very cool. Here is the one that was included with Zolda. As you can see, it is quite a bit bigger, the Magnugiga version. So I think that's really neat. It just looks massive and awesome, and I love it a lot. I've got this backwards, but that's fine. There we go. So now it's right. That's always fun. So, very, very cool. I love the fact that it's bigger, since Zolda's got these huge guns anyway, and then you just get an even bigger set with Magnugiga. So I think that's really neat. You've also got these, which are alternate grips. Since these ones are kind of small, you just pop them off and then slide these ones on. And then you have a larger grip for Kamen Rider Zolda to hold, which is always helpful for display. I feel like if you get Magnugiga and then display him as weapons, you're kind of doing it wrong. But to each their own, I think it's a cool display option regardless. Here we go. So that's all set. We can try to get him to hold that too. And then finally we have the other chute vent. These ones were a little bit different. You're going to swing his cannon arms, or legs rather, out like this, and then kind of finagle this around like so. Just like that. Here was the set that came with Zolda. As you can see, a lot smaller. I mean, look at that. Wow, is basically all I can say to that. Lot smaller. The only benefit you get from the ones that came with Zolda is the fact that the inside of the legs aren't hollow. That's really the only huge difference. And then these leg pieces do come out a bit. Not sure what for exactly, but I don't know if it's to make something easier to get to or what, but those do come out, so you've got some pieces right there. So very, very cool. Really do love that. So all of these Magnugiga pieces can attach to Zolda, like we said before. He also comes with 2 Advent cards. One is the Guard Vent, and the other one is Strike Vent. Strike Vent and Guard Vent, since the original Zolda didn't come with those weapons. So very cool. Let's reattach the Magnivisor. And we'll just kind of go ahead and do some poses with all of these weapons. So here's Zolda with the Strike Vent active. One thing I did forget to mention is that if you pop off the cap that's on either of the arms, that one right there, then you can go ahead and attach the cap that's on Magnugiga right onto there. So it'll help stabilize it a little bit better. But very cool with the Strike Vent active. And here he is with the Guard Vent / Guard and then Kill You Vent, as well as the Magnivisor. So again, really cool. Like I said, he can hold that and kind of brace himself. I feel like it was bigger in the show, because Magnugiga was kind of bigger in the show, but it still kind of gives off the effect that it's supposed to get, just it looks kind of funky. Here he is with the absolutely massive Shoot Vent. I'm going to have to move that box even further. Very huge and hulking and impressive, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. The other one didn't look bad at all. It's just this one's so much bigger that it honestly looks like he'll just blow the earth away. And another thing that I didn't mention, I don't want to use the turntable for, because that would get absolutely ridiculous. But if you can actually get him to hold this semi-straight, which is actually very difficult to do, and it kind of looks like he's breaking his wrist. But this does line up with the Guard Vent to act as a little brace. It's kind of difficult to do. I guess you can do something along the lines of that. That just didn't work at all. So I guess that's kind of neat-ish. You can use that as a brace, plus if you open it up, bam, more firepower, because he really needs that. So that's always cool. But yeah, that's just something that you have an option of doing. Okay, so with these, what you want to do is swing those up to hide his little joints right there, and then reveal the caps. And those are just going to fit right onto Zolda's back with no problem whatsoever. And then these are just going to swing around, hide his head completely. And actually, you can balance him to where he doesn't need a Tamashii Stage. Just like so. So these are friggin' ginormous launchers on his back. So that is very cool. One option that you do have as well is that it does include a Zolda Tamashii Stage that Zolda did not come with. If you take this piece off, on the back of this launcher right here, you do have a Tamashii Stage port. If you pop that in, you can kind of get that settled. So you do have a stage option for him that can plug right into the back of there. So that's really cool as well, just in case you are having some balancing issues. So you've pretty much got all your bases covered with this guy, no matter which display option you choose with him. And this is Kamen Rider Zolda massively compensating for something Vent. This is every part of Magnugiga on, or at least around, Kamen Rider Zolda, and wow. That's all I can say to this is wow. You've got a gun on his hip, which isn't actually pointed forward, but it could be. This thing up here with the Guard Vent, you've got the Strike Vent that has a gun on it, the massive Shoot Vent, which is a gun, and the 2 rocket launcher Shoot Vents, which are guns. So yeah, he lives up to the gun-toting rider theme that he certainly has. And the Magnugiga pieces on this guy just look absolutely impressive, and I just knocked that one over because he doesn't really stand all that well. But I tried to hook it onto the chute vent, but when you're holding it one-handed like he is right now, you can't hold it straight enough. But wow, that's all I can say is wow. So overall, Magnugiga is basically a very expensive Zolda accessory set that doubles as its own action figure. And I think that's actually kind of cool. If you're a huge fan of Ryuki, then obviously I feel like this is a must-own. You've got the two other contract beasts with Ryuki and Knight. What's a couple more? So, that being said, all the compatibility with all the pieces that you can attach to Zolda over here is very cool. And the larger chute vents that they give you with this version here with the Magnugiga pieces is just so hulking compared to Zolda that it's just very, very impressive. Being a Kamen Rider Ryuki release, he's actually not that easy to find on the aftermarket anymore. But if you find one for a decent price, I would say 6,000 or lower is actually a fairly decent price for these. Then by all means pick it up. I love it. I wish there was some diecast in it, but if you add in diecast for the feet and stuff, then you ruin the ability for Zolda to maintain the weight. So it's kind of a on one hand, on the other hand sort of thing. That as much as diecast would be nice for a robot like this, it would ruin the ability to use his pieces as weapons. So I'm kind of glad they didn't include the diecast, because it does include that functionality, which I think is absolutely great for a toy like this. So very, very cool. Genocider's up next. He should be at my house by now, but he isn't because Customs is holding my package ransom or something. But he'll be here soon. I will take a look at that guy as well. So very much an awesome release. The contract monsters for the S.H.Figuarts line are just very impressive. This guy is no exception. So very cool, and another great addition to the Ryuki SHF line. So you can check out shukadashinobi.com for latest updates on my reviews and hauls, and of course check out ridersrangersandrambles.com with the podcast for your latest token news in the craziest way possible. And of course you can buy more S.H. Figuarts at cstoysjapan.com. So take care and have a great one. Bye.